Join me as I dive into the Super Bowl 2026 to uncover if Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton are really sparking dating rumors. The spectacle of the Super Bowl transcends the athletic drama unfolding on the gridiron. It is a cultural vortex, a gladiatorial arena, where narratives of sport, commerce, celebrity, and society collide under the blinding Klieg lights of global attention. The game itself is merely the catalyst. The true event is the constellation of human interactions orbiting at the politics of the luxury suite, the calculated informality of the sidelines, the whispered conversations that echo louder than a stadium roar. In 2024, the ancillary story that captivated the world's imagination did not involve a controversial call or a halftime mishap. It was born from a series of glances, proximities, and carefully parsed sentences involving two of the planet's most meticulously observed individuals, Kim Kardashian and Sir Lewis Hamilton. Their encounter at Allegiant Stadium did not just spark dating rumors, it offered a masterclass in how modern celebrity mythology is manufactured, disseminated, and consumed in the digital age, serving as a perfect case study in the blurry alchemy of fact, perception, and desire. To understand the potency of their Super Bowl interaction, one must first map the terrain of their pre-existing social geography. Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton are not mere celebrities, they are apex entities in the ecosystem of fame, architects of personal empires built on relentless visibility and strategic brand curation. Their paths have intersected for nearly a decade within the rarefied enclaves of global elite culture. They have been fixtures alongside each other at the Met Gala, where fashion's extreme theater provides a backdrop for calculated camaraderie. They have occupied adjacent front-row seats at Paris Fashion Week shows for Balenciaga and Tommy Hilfiger, their presence as much a part of the collection as the garments themselves. They have mingled at exclusive Art Basel parties and charity galas for the Ellen Fund, moving through these spaces as peers who acknowledge a shared reality, one defined by unprecedented scrutiny, colossal influence, and the existential weight of maintaining relevance. For years, their relationship was publicly framed within the safe, ambiguous container of friendship. It was a label of convenience, used in media captions and red carpet cheer-ins to describe a connection that appeared genuine yet professionally cordial. They were spotted in group settings, exchanged pleasantries captured by long lenses, and existed in a state of plausible deniability. This period established a crucial foundation for the rumor to come. It provided a history. It meant that their later proximity could not be dismissed as a random, first-time meeting engineered for press, but rather a plausible evolution of a long-standing acquaintance. The soil was fertile, waiting only for the right conditions, the supersaturated, high-stakes environment of the Super Bowl to yield a new and more tantalizing narrative seed. The Super Bowl, particularly in a venue like Las Vegas, operates on a different celebrity calculus than the Fashion Week front row or the gala dinner. It is perceived as more visceral, less pretentious, a uniquely American ritual where billionaires, artists, athletes, and influencers momentarily level out on the common ground of fandom. The dress code is elevated casual, the interactions appear less staged, and the primary focus, the game, provides a chaotic, distracting backdrop that can lend an air of accidental intimacy to shared moments. For Kim and Lewis, their attendance was individually logical. Kim, a perennial A-lister with deep ties to the entertainment and fashion worlds, is a staple at the event. Lewis, having cultivated a strong presence in the United States and a keen interest in broader cultural and business spheres, fits seamlessly into the blend of sport and celebrity the event curates. Their convergence in a private suite, therefore, was not remarkable in itself. It was the specific behavioral minutiae, isolated and amplified by the crowd of cameras and phones pointed in their direction, that became the raw data for the rumor's construction. The evidence, as presented by the court of social media and tabloid journalism, was a sequence of seemingly charged fragments. First, the suite dynamics footage showed Kim and Lewis not merely sharing a space, but inhabiting a shared bubble within it. They were consistently angled toward one another, their chairs turned inward in a classic sign of engagement, forming a dyad that seemed to momentarily exclude the swirling energy of the suite around them. During a pivotal play that had the rest of their cohort leaping to their feet, they remained in their own conversational stream, a quiet island in a storm of noise. Kim was seen laughing, her hand briefly touching Lewis's forearm, a gesture of emphasis or familiarity that lasted a fraction of a second, but was frozen and replayed ad infinitum. Lewis, whose public persona often carries a layer of intense, almost serene focus, appeared notably at ease, his smile frequent and unrehearsed. The post-game environment, always a frenetic scramble of departing celebrities and eager media, provided the next critical data points. In a makeshift press scrum, Lewis was asked about the game. His response began generically, praising the electric atmosphere. Then, an enterprising reporter pivoted, "We saw you with Kim Kardashian in the suite. Is she a new F1 fan?" Lewis's reaction was telling. He did not deflect or offer a terse no comment. Instead, he broke into a warm, appreciative smile. "Kim's fantastic," he said, his tone shifting from generic to specific. "She's been incredibly supportive, actually. She has this amazing drive herself, so she gets it." This was a qualitative leap from acknowledging an acquaintance. It was an attribution of emotional and intellectual support, a drawing of a parallel between her formidable work ethic and his own athletic psyche. He was not just saying she was there, he was integrating her into the narrative of his professional world, using language drive, gets it that implied a deeper understanding. The climactic, and arguably most incendiary, piece of visual evidence came from the shadowy, grainy realm of the parking garage paparazzi shot. This was not the clean, well-lit imagery of a red carpet but the verite, stolen moment that feels more real. The photograph captured Kim and Lewis walking side by side through the concrete labyrinth, their security details forming a perimeter. Their heads were inclined toward each other, deep in conversation. Both wore expressions of focused, private amusement, a shared smile that seemed to shut out the flashbulbs popping around them. It was the image of a coordinated departure, a journey to the next location undertaken together. In the semiotics of celebrity gossip, the red carpet pose is for public consumption. The private exit is for the story. This single frame became the Rosetta Stone for the rumor, interpreted by millions as incontrovertible proof of a shift from public friendship to private connection. The reaction was a digital Big Bang, instantly creating two polarized and fervent universes of belief. Team Romance, the shippers, embarked on a forensic analysis of the available footage. They created side-by-side video comparisons, using arrows and circles to highlight sustained eye contact, mirrored body language, and the subtle, unconscious leans that signal attraction. They argued that the chemistry was organic and palpable, that two individuals of their stature, with nothing material to gain from a fake relationship, would not engage in such sustained and convincing performance. They pointed to Lewis's apparent lightness and Kim's engaged demeanor as evidence of a genuine spark, positing this as the dawn of the ultimate global power couple, a merger of California influencer empire and British sporting knight, a narrative almost Shakespearean in its scale. Conversely, Team Skeptic deployed the tools of media critique and cynical realism. They framed the entire episode as a quintessential, mutually beneficial publicity engine. Kim Kardashian, they noted, is the undisputed architect of the modern personal brand narrative, a woman who has built a billion-dollar empire by mastering the art of converting perceived private life into public capital. Lewis Hamilton, while a sporting icon, is perpetually in a cycle of promoting his team, his sponsorships, like Tommy Hilfiger, his activism, and his ventures beyond F1. The week of the Super Bowl, he had a new collaborative collection launching. The timing, the skeptics argued, was too perfect. The rumor generated a tsunami of free, global media coverage that no traditional advertising buy could match, dominating conversations for days and pushing both their names to the top of search trends. The cozy interactions were reinterpreted as a masterful display of plausible deniability, giving the press just enough to run with, without a single confirmatory statement. The parking garage photo, potentially staged, or at the very least, executed with full awareness of the paparazzi's presence. In this reading, the rumor was not a discovery, but a production. The official responses from representatives followed the well-worn script of the celebrity industrial complex. Statements were issued to People magazine and E! News, the preferred conduits for such managed communications. The language was identical. Kim and Lewis are good friends, and had a great time at the Super Bowl together with their wider group. Any speculation beyond that is simply not true. This formulation is the gold standard of modern PR non-denial. It confirms the observable facts. They were there. They are friends, gently chides the media for overreach, speculation, and leaves the central question, the nature and depth of that friendship, artfully unanswered. It is a statement designed to dampen the fire without extinguishing the embers, maintaining the intrigue that fuels continued public interest. Beneath the surface of shipping and skepticism lies a more profound truth about the nature of contemporary fame. For figures like Kardashian and Hamilton, the line between the personal and the professional, the authentic and the performed, is not just blurred, it is fundamentally irrelevant. Their lives are their livelihoods. Every interaction exists within a mediated economy of attention. A friendship can be entirely genuine and simultaneously be leveraged for narrative capital. A romantic spark can be both real and strategically unveiled. To ask is it real, or is it PR, is to pose a binary question to a non-binary reality. Their Super Bowl encounter was likely a compound of authentic enjoyment, deep professional understanding, and an acute, unspoken awareness of how their every move would be interpreted. They are both the authors and the subjects of their own ongoing mythologies. The rumors' endurance and power tell us less about Kim and Lewis specifically, and more about our own role as the audience. We are active participants in this cycle. We supply the meaning, the longing, and the narrative arcs. We choose which grainy photo to invest with significance, which offhand comment to decode as a secret message. The modern rumor is a collaborative fiction, co-written by the celebrities, who provide the provocative raw material, and the public, who feverishly assemble it into a story. The Kim and Lewis speculation offered a compelling narrative of connection between two seemingly disparate worlds: West Coast reality television and European motorsport aristocracy. It was a fairy tale for the age of brand synergy, a story that allowed us to project our ideas about power, beauty, success, and romance onto two blank, yet familiar slates. In the final analysis, the truth of the Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton dating rumors is ultimately secondary. The phenomenon itself is the story. It exemplifies how, in the 21st century, a rumor is no longer a whisper in the dark, but a multi-platform, multi-billion impression media event. It is fueled by the architectural realities of social media, the insatiable demand for content, and the complex, symbiotic relationship between the famous and those who follow them. The Super Bowl provided the stadium, but we provided the projection. Whether the connection was a fleeting moment of mutual understanding, the beginning of a grand romance, or a brilliantly executed piece of collaborative branding, its real impact was to demonstrate, once again, that in the arena of modern celebrity, perception is not just reality, it is the only currency that matters. The game on the field ended with a final score. The game in the stands and on our screens, the game of meaning and myth, continues, unanswered and utterly compelling. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.